My all-new diabolical plan for world conquest is spiders. Just a lot of fucking spiders. Spiders everywhere. Hey there, kiddos, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Uncle Frank, hoping that you are having a great day. And in today's video, I'd like to sit back in my very squeaky chair, relax, and have a little conversation with all of you guys about missed opportunities in the world of TCGs. The possibility of single-player experience in card games generally meant to be played with friends or at least people you know at game stores and such. Today I'm talking about this guy, Garrick the Slayer, the oversized Magic the Gathering card, who's quite a bit different from your average Magic card. This is an oversized Planeswalker that was created as a kind of side experience for Core Set M15. The goal of the experience was to take your pre-release deck and challenge Garrick with it. All this guy could do is summon wolf tokens, power up those wolf tokens, kill your creatures, and try his best to swarm the field with these little tokens and overwhelm your defenses. If you could bypass his wolves and bring Garrick down from 20 loyalty to 0, you win. And if he managed to, overwhelm you with wolves, you lose. A fun little side activity to do at pre-releases. Very unique. Not a whole lot of experiences like that at pre-releases. Theros had something similar with its challenge decks, but for the most part, things like that are not really seen all that much. Not just in the world of Magic the Gathering, but in card games in general. And that, I think, is what I'm really here to talk about today, because in my opinion, as a fan of these games, as someone who is not a game designer at all, as someone who is not even what I would call a primary audience for many of these card games, I do genuinely believe that it is a missed opportunity that more card games don't have single-player, player versus enemy experiences for their games, especially at limited events like pre-releases. Since that, I think, would be the easiest way to implement things like this. You know, give players something that they would only have to deal with for a limited time. Now, that's not to say that limited experiences don't exist. Flesh and Blood does it from time to time for their pre-releases. For instance, High Seas had a special pre-release card that you could only really play during High Seas Limited, for instance. But for the most part, we don't really see any single-player options for most TCGs. Most TCGs, not all TCGs. There are some that I know that do have the ability to play it single player, but for the most part, I think a lot of card games could very easily implement some sort of single player PvE mode, format, product. It would be very easy, in my opinion, to implement it. Magic's already done it several times in the past. They just haven't done it in a very long time, to my knowledge. I don't think they've done it since like 2014, 2015, at the very least. This is something I'm sure that not too many people feel all that strongly about. After all, card games are more or less communal. You're supposed to play them with your friends or with people you know at your card shop or at tournaments, whatever have you. But I do believe that there are people who, you know, schedules don't line up or they get snowed in. The internet's not working or whatever have you. For whatever reason, they just can't get out there, just can't go to the local game store. They can't or don't want to hook up to the online dueling simulators for their game of choice. They just want to play with some cards. Well, a single player experience is a fine way to do that. And for many card games, I think it would be relatively simple to do. Magic the Gathering's done it. Flesh and Blood, I think, could easily do some kind of single player villain deck where you have to play against a villain card, and what they can do is determined by how much health they have or how many cards are left in their deck, right? Pokemon could have some kind of legendary Pokemon challenge where you fight against a specific legendary Pokemon that gets energy cards every few turns and uses them for overpowered attacks or something. Yu-Gi-Oh could have... I have no idea how to theoretically balance a Yu-Gi-Oh card. Yu-Gi-Oh could have something, though, in theory. Maybe just a deck that plays itself. Who knows, right? Yeah, I think... I'm sure that the amount of people who are super interested in a single player experience for their card game of choice is probably a very small portion of the overall player base. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm sure that I am not in the majority opinion here, but I do think it would be nice just to have the option. Sure, I do play with the Garrick card from time to time. In fact, for a while, I played with the Garrick card extensively because I got into the game of Magic the Gathering in Konstantar Kier block, which was right after M15. I was made aware of this card very early on into my Magic life cycle. And for a while, for almost 2 years, in fact, I would not bring a deck to F&M if it could not beat Garrick the Slayer. It was just my litmus test for how good a deck really was. If I couldn't beat that single Planeswalker card, why would I even bother bringing it to the LGS to play it against the boys, right? And I think that's another utility for single-player experiences as well, just to see how good your deck really is. Could you really test yourself and all that jazz? There's a bunch of other reasons to do it too, you know, just for having fun, challenge yourself, give yourself an alternative way to just play the game. There's all kinds of reasons you might want to do it, but at the end of the day, I think something simple like that, something really easy to implement like that, is something that maybe, I don't want to see it like all the time, but I'd like to see a single-player experience for Flesh and Blood. Magic the Gathering could easily implement more cards like Garrick the Slayer, and yeah, Pokemon too. It would give... I'm always really bad at explaining why I would like something, especially if I'm always really bad at explaining why I like things. So explaining why I would want something is always hard too, but in an effort to not feel like I'm rambling too much, especially since, you know, I'm not a game designer or anything like that, I think there's a lot of open space there for single-player experiences, PvE experiences, ways to play the game that don't involve two players trying to just beat the crap out of each other with their respective decks, right? That's all. Giving fans of your game something to do, even for a limited time at some LGS for a pre-release or a side event at major events, would be kind of cool. That's all. That's all. That's my opinion video of the week. This was an opinion video. So, let me know what you guys think. This was a shorter one, but I suppose it might as well be, right? Do you agree with me? Disagree with me? Think that I'm crazy for even bringing the topic up in the first place? Let me know in the comments section below. Thank you so much for watching. Check out the Discord and the Patreon and all that jazz. Thank you guys, and I'll see you next time.